Welcome to the Queer Thriving Podcast, where we draw inspiration from the past, cultivate thriving in the present, and dream boldly of a better future. Hi, I'm Kari. Any pronouns work for me. I'm glad you're here. I don't know about you, but I have had a lot of emotions working their way through me in sort of alternating waves since finding out that Trump will for sure be our next president once again. That may be true for you too, that you've been feeling these waves of emotion. I feel rage and grief and anxiety and disgust and fear for the future. I don't need to enumerate the reasons why I'm feeling all those things. I'm sure you already know that all too well. But I do want you to know that you are valid for feeling whatever it is you do feel. Your rage is justified. Your grief is reasonable. Your anxiety realistic. You have every right to feel all those emotions and more because those are appropriate responses to the situation. And if you're feeling joy and satisfaction because things in your personal life, separate from politics, are going well, then that's amazing. No way of feeling is wrong, and feelings are complex and can coexist. When I talk about finding joy and thriving as queer people, I want to say that it isn't about erasing difficult emotions like rage and grief. It isn't about brainwashing ourselves into an unrealistically optimistic, blissed out state where we feel happy and at peace in a way that is totally disconnected from the world around us. It's about hearing an oppressive narrative that says, "We hope you suffer," and responding with thriving all the more, and joy and spite, with vigor and whatever else it takes to not allow ourselves to become totally immobilized by the pressures of people who wish to marginalize us. Rage has an important role to play, as do grief and anxiety and the rest. But I feel like there are enough resources out there helping cultivate those feelings in particular. So I want this to be a space to cultivate an orientation toward thriving in the face of opposition. Since I know I have felt drained and defeated before at the prospect of another 4 years under an unpredictable man's oligarchic rule. In the book Pleasure Activism, Adrienne Marie describes the core concept of the book in this way. Pleasure activism is the work we do to reclaim our whole, happy, and satisfiable selves from the impacts, delusions, and limitations of oppression and/or supremacy. In other words, thriving, or to use Marie's word, pleasure, is taking back what controlling forces try to snatch away from us. In the 1920s and 30s, an amazing community coalesced in Harlem, New York. Amid systemic racism, homophobia, and economic inequality, queer Black individuals found ways to create spaces for self-expression, community, and joy. It was a unique time and place that produced incredible art and creativity, community, and resistance. This era became known as the Harlem Renaissance and involved influential and talented people like poet and playwright Langston Hughes, gender nonconforming blues singer Gladys Bentley, and writer and painter Richard Bruce Nugent. Informal drag balls and underground gatherings provided safe spaces for people to find community. Rent parties gathered people together in apartments to raise money for rent. Local performances at community theaters like the Lafayette Theater hosted plays that centered on Black and queer voices. The Harlem Community Arts Center provided resources and education for visual artists, and older artists would mentor newer artists, passing down knowledge. There was so much going on at this time in this neighborhood that was just amazing, impactful, creative, and focused not just on surviving the times, but flourishing in them. During the time of the Harlem Renaissance, there was plenty of incredible activism taking place and so much energy in the community, in part because they had support and camaraderie to rely on. I think they must have also had righteous anger, grief, anxiety as well, just like us. And that existed right alongside joy, creativity, and thriving. So what I'm saying is, I want you to feel validated in all the painful and difficult things that you're feeling. And I want to remind you to give yourself permission to feel joy and pleasure and invigoration right alongside that. The two can coexist in you. You don't have to soften your righteous anger for the convenience of others, but you don't have to sacrifice the joy in your life either. As Adrienne Marie puts it, pleasure is not one of the spoils of capitalism. It is what our bodies, our human systems are structured for. It is the aliveness and awakening, the gratitude and humility, the joy and celebration of being miraculous. Adrienne Marie is saying that though pleasure is something those in power try to deny people on the margins, it's ours to reclaim and is radical and humanizing to do so. Until next time, keep resisting, keep dreaming, and keep thriving.